We are live. I'm back. There's a ludicrous amount of stuff stacked up to fix. I'm going to figure out what the heck needs fixing and just start going through a bunch of stuff. Dynamic. The heck? Okay, this is weird. Yeah, so there needs to be some change there. Where did this go? Oh, here it is. It's just a thread here. So okay, got that. I believe we have some support stuff on E3B to deal with next. Yeah, okay, so there's something weird with E3B. Let me figure this out. Oops. This here. I guess the first thing to do is just going to be let's see if this how this increases. So we'll see if this continues to increase or not. Nope, consistent. So there's no memory leak. Let me go see what version they currently have that I PR'd. Yeah, this is no memory leak in my version. When I push this, yeah, these are just innies. This is fine. Oh wait, I didn't push this. Shit. Okay, I didn't push this. How far through this did I get? I thought I sent them a PR. Did I just not send them a PR? I don't know, man. Last week was like stupid busy. And then I gotta figure out the run command for this. Let me find the freaking command. I miss run. Oops. No, not like that. I think it was just run dir. Okay, so now we can do this and see. Yeah, there we go. Is this? We'll just have to watch this for a little bit to see if there's any memory issue. Okay, so this is, I forgot the hardware flag. So we'll see if this one is worse. See how much this uses. Looks stable to me. Oops. DRAM. DRAM is fine. And memory, is it stable? Yeah, that looks stable. Oh, I just noticed. Is there literally... Huh, there's a screenshot on the terminal. That's funny. Okay, so that is pushed. Yeah, that's all separate. We don't care with that. Solid. Okay, so this is done. Um, I had a PR that fix I just made. Puff. Can't merge. Why is this? Got my compute cluster back? Good for you. Ours is fucked. I will never buy another Intel chip again. Yep. They should honestly, like, it's sad that this is just a class action that, like, is only gonna profit lawyers because, like, they've done tens of thousands of dollars of damage. I mean, they've basically destroyed most of the value of having a cluster in the first place. I think I easily have a claim for 20,000 on them. No, it's not winning the lottery with hardware issues. It's literally that they shipped 2 entire generations of bad chips. I mean, you can go check. They tanked their stock price by 25% overnight because of this same issue. I mean, they're literally bricking my boxes in ways that shouldn't be possible. I spent most of my day-to-day testing GPUs in various boxes, swapping CPUs around, testing BIOS shit. It's insane. Hi, Joseph. Do you have any advice for optimizing environments written mostly in Python and NumPy? Reaching the point where experimentation is kind of unfeasible. Bite the bullet, learn, just port them to C. It sounds hard. I promise you it's not hard. Like, you try Jax and then you hate everything because Jax is just horrible to work with. You try Numba and then you realize that doesn't work. Like, you just port stuff to C. It's so much easier. And it's like, if you think it's hard, you've been lied to. Let me show you some code. Even if you've never done C or you haven't done it since undergrad, like, watch this. Let's see, snake. So this is my snake implementation. It's literally playable online. You can even see the models trained online for this thing. This runs at several million steps per second on a single CPU core. It's multi-agent. This yellow snake here, I can hold shift, I can control it and take over if I want. I can take my hands off and the model will play. So like this works, this exact same tech, this is how I built Neural MMO3. This is how everyone's building stuff in Puffer, including people brand new to RL. All right, this is the code. 300 lines in C. Here's some logging that you can just use for any environment. It's a struct. There's some initialization. This is how you compute observations. And then here's the end logic. Delete a snake, spawn a snake. If you read the code, there's nothing surprising here. There's nothing here that a first-year computer science student won't understand. Just try this. Like, take a look at this and see if you think it's easy. Because this is like the nicest, I swear, this is the nicest way to just have your environments be fast and never have to worry about it. I say this is somebody who wrote Python for 10 years and resisted this very strongly. Did this thing work? Yes, this did work. Let me make sure it still runs. And that there is no memory leak. Yeah, Ryan, that's not... I swapped the new CPU, and I don't know if it's bricked the operating system or somehow managed to damage other components, but I have multiple boxes that are just cursed. I mean, I can show you the specs that we're getting our dev boxes now, because we've got our new ones very dialed in. They're a little pricey, but they're quite nice. I mean, not even really all that pricey, because just the 5090s alone are $2,000 out of the box. So... Okay, this works. I believe this works. I'll let it run a little longer. Oh shoot, this was like compiling or some nonsense. Okay, we'll have to give this a little longer. Running tiny policies. Yeah, so it seems like if you were to run experiments on every core, for some of the simpler environments, it would be faster than just running one experiment on the GPU. But the individual experiments would be about 4 or 5 times slower. Also, we want to be able to run slightly larger policies, so it's very bad to just invest in CPU-only infra, because we're not going to be running 100K policies forever, right? We'll be running like million parameter policies or whatnot. I don't think it's horribly cheaper either, because the GPU is adding about 2,500 to the price of the machine. Like there's still the high-end CPU and the RAM and everything. Like I guess you down the power supply a bit, but we probably could get some decent CPU boxes for like 2,500 instead of 5,500. Yeah. It's a really bad direction to bet on scalability wise though. 4 to 5x, yeah. We see I mean that's only for the really small policies as well. You get like 100K training sometimes on CPU. That's because Crafter is a god-awful environment and you're hard bottlenecked by the environment. Do you not have like this environment? I guess you're not running on PufferLib. This is why we log environment time and training time separately. Crafter is just like the worst. It's one of the worst pieces of code in RL. I mean, Overcooked is worse, but yeah, it's pretty rough. They make that slow. Yeah, this is why you just use PufferLib. Oh, speaking of which, I'm working on a very nice present for curriculum learning, folks. A very nice present indeed. How do you feel about procedurally generated mazes of configurable size and difficulty where you can run like thousands of them in parallel and easily swap them in and out? And renders in browser and locally. And is only going to be about 500-600 lines of C. Oh, and also supports doors and keys, locked doors and keys like mini-grid as well. Well, that's the funny thing. It can be more complex than mini. You can just make a giant maze, right? It would like yeah, it is for early testing, right? That's the point. Thanks for the answer. How does PufferLib integrate with CMs? CMs in PufferLib. So we have our own implementation. Here, I'll show you. Have you tried PufferLib at all? I highly suggest you do, though I'm a little biased. So we got a couple demos. This one's old. Clean RL PPO. So this is like 300 some odd lines. This is your typical PPO Atari. Doesn't have, I don't think this even has LSTM in it. This is a really simple one. All right, so then ours, we have Clean PuffRL, which is based on Clean RL, but is many times faster, like 30x faster in some cases. Supports LSTMs and has a bunch of additional logging. Mostly the logging is going to add some extra code because if you just scroll down to the end of our training, you know, we're only 300 lines in, but then, you know, there's some logging. But this script supports everything. It's the same interface as CleanRL, and the M's just have like a gym style interface. So there's really nothing that you have to integrate at all. You just drop the environments in and they're 1,000 times faster. Now, the only thing that we do a little different here, which we don't even need for all of our environments, But we support async environment simulation in this file, which can give you a 2x speed up in some cases. But most of our environments are so fast that we don't even have to do that. So, yeah. Definitely need fast test M. Been toughing it out. Yeah. You don't want to do that because you can't do stuff like auto tune all your hyperparams and just solve stuff, right? So this is, I mean, this is for that, right? This is for that. Let's get these guys their PR. How can this not merge? Up to date. Oh. How is this not up to date? This is ridiculous. I'm confused. I pulled this in. This branch is up to date. I'll show you the code for the grid thing in a bit as soon as I finish this. It's pretty nice. I mean, I mostly wrote it on the plane, so it's not fully done yet, but CL hypers. So it's not just about that, though, is the thing. This is going to give us additionally fundamental understanding of how hyperparameters are sensitive and where they're sensitive and why they're sensitive, which is going to inform our ability to modify current algorithms in order to get around those limitations. For instance, I'm pretty sure in my head that GAE's got to go. I don't have full evidence for it, but I want to see exactly how and where to replace that. Yeah. Additionally, you still want good hyperparameters even on your test M's because it'll make your experimentation on the test M's go faster by a lot. Like, I'm not even done with the neocarbs thing yet. It's gonna be like the god hyperparameter tuning algorithm by the time I'm done. I just need to basically stop getting distracted with stuff and really just like get all my work in so I can get to that. Yeah, vacation was kind of a mistake. I'm literally just like more stressed out and busy now because of all the stuff that's piled up. So, no vacations for me for the next couple of years. Wouldn't want to tune. Well, but wouldn't you want to know if it's really sensitive to those, it's really sensitive to those parameters? That's something you'd want to know, right? Yeah, I think I'm going to be able to take a day off here and there when I need it, but like vacation, not going to work at all. Which is kind of fine with me. How did I screw up this PR? randomly picking. Well, I think it would for something that's structured like this maze as well. A maze is a very, very clear test of this stuff, right? In fact, it's almost too clear of a test because the majority of the literature is kind of just cheating with counts-based exploration. What the heck is wrong with this thing? I literally don't know what happened here. Wait, this literally doesn't make any damn sense. Clear cut success fail. Crafter. Why are you using Crafter instead of CraftX? It's literally 100 times faster. And it has the same base environment in it. Do I just need to have that on Puffer, on Puffer Tank so it's easy? I choose the code base. Well, my experience has been the vast majority of RL code bases suck. So that may or may not be helping you. Ah, I see. Okay, you're being very disciplined with it, I see. Yeah, and it doesn't work with Puffer because Puffer's M's are really fast and they're not designed for. Yeah, okay, I see. Dude, that's just like, that's no fun though. Like, you just have absolutely no fun with that, I'm sure. Have you considered not torturing yourself with people's terrible RL code bases? Same M's, transfer the model. Yeah, no, that's true. If you're, I forgot your testing syllabus specifically. The thing is that, okay, the thing with Puffer that would be cool is, let's say you're playing with new curriculum learning algorithms, right? You could play with them in Puffer and then move them to syllabus. And you would and it's not just simple M's, right? Like you can throw them at Neural MMO if you want. Yeah. We're making all this easier as well. It's like I've got, there's an agenda of things. Curriculum learning is on there. It's fairly high up, but there are hardware issues. There are financial issues to deal with. There are like things like my own research, right, that I'm doing with this, like the hyperparameter tuning stuff. There's env merging. There's a ton of stuff to do around Puffer. So I'm getting to things as quickly as I can. Um, I've kind of realized that it's kind of funny the way I've structured Puffer. It really just relies on me getting the maximum possible number of productive hours out of myself. So, yeah, I pretty much just have to get myself like dialed constantly for this all to work, which I'm mostly figuring out. I'm mostly figuring it out. Okay, try that. This is now done. When's the RLC deadline? PhD. Yeah, they're getting pretty good though, and I'm going to be onboarding them to more science stuff. The main thing is their boxes just keep dying. Heck, my box died the other day and corrupted the operating system. This is ridiculous. I spent like 2 hours today on the phone with main gear, looking at boxes, did GPU swaps, did CPU swaps, did BIOS tests, bullshit. Also, like, NVIDIA's been, you kind of realize that NVIDIA's been going a little silly. Look at the size difference. So when you're actually like, messing around with the desktops now, it's actually hard to even get these things slotted in correctly since they're just gigantic. The 40 series is even bigger, and the 50 series is probably even bigger. We're gonna get those though. I've got one 50 box paid for and pre-ordered already. We're gonna see how that one goes, and then we'll order the other 40 of them. That's the plan. All right, what other stuff is there? Do I actually get to do some of my own stuff now? Or I should probably check on Kyung to make sure he's not dying. Get away with cheaper GPUs. Oh, pretty fast. We are going to be doing slightly bigger models as well. We kind of, I ran some experiments for NYU recently, and our 4090s were twice as fast as their H100s. They're pretty nice. But you got to realize as well, like, base price on the boxes is already going to be what it is. It's only like double with the GPU versus like no GPU. It doesn't really make sense to try to save like $1,000 on the GPU and like cut the speed of the whole machine substantially. Robotics and control stuff. We got Isaac Jim bound to Puffer now. I don't know if you've seen this, but we got a decent Isaac Jim binding. That was utter hell because that code was so bad. I basically spent all of last week just going through awful Python code and like fixing stuff. It's actually was pretty funny. The GPU drive code ended up being the best. They dropped perf in a bunch of places, but that's about it. Robotics, yeah, I know. I mean, it's like, hey, if a client asks for control stuff, then how do we fix the sim to real gap, Joseph? There are a lot of possibilities. So first of all, we only really care about that in specific domains like robotics, right? Robotics is not the end-all be-all of RL. There are a bajillion other things where you really don't need to, where you have like really good accurate simulators, tons and tons of industrial processes, for instance, a few other things that clients are doing, and so on. In robotics, there are a few ways. Randomization helps a lot, and then you can always just fine-tune in the real world, right? Like you have some real hardware, it's just that you have massively, massively more data in sim. Cool, Kyung is in a good spot. One of the old posts on that was, learning dexterity, OpenAI. That was a really nice post. The other thing I'd like to mention with the problems that RL has at the moment is RL hasn't even had the benefit of billions of dollars of investment like LLMs have. So like, it's kind of amazing that anything works at all, and it's actually very reasonable to expect stuff to get a lot better. And in fact, it's not just going to be wait around and expect stuff to get a lot better. Like, we're going to make it 10x easier to get RL up and running on new problems this year, which should hopefully help with generalization a little bit, but then it'll definitely help with generalization research because just RL in general will be a lot more consistent and overall usable. Let's check in on Kyung here. He's been doing probably more work than he should be. Good luck with extortionisms. Thank you very much. I'm gonna make myself a nice snazzy stream overlay at some point. I'll just get one. Let me check next stuff on Puffer. I think I actually get to play with my grid environment a little bit now. I probably should check some email. In the meantime, while I'm doing this, grab top. Just gonna sync up the grid code that I've been writing. Geez, this laptop is on its last legs. Razer have their new ones out yet? It's gonna be very expensive hardware buying season. Just double check. Geez, those are horrid. Still notify. Still no laptops. RL's bound to get billions of dollars. I mean, it's legitimate, but I don't think it's going to be the only use case. Right? I don't think that LLMs, with or without RL, solve everything in the way they're currently being applied. I mean, I guess technically, yeah, the LLM is just another model. So if you have like general purpose tokenizing and you train your LLMs on everything, then you can just do that. But like, we can currently train on about as much data as all of GPT-4, for instance, on one GPU. So there's just like a massive difference in data scale, and RL scales really well with data. So that we're going to have to square that at some point. And I definitely think that language models are an absolutely terrible domain for like figuring out what works in RL and what doesn't, because everything is just so slow. So like we're going to be the ones here making tons of quick progress because we can do stuff fast, right? So like I think that Puffer, even as just like a small in just like a very small lab, really, with mostly just open source stuff plus me, we're going to be able to be producing results with the speed and on the scale of some of the bigger labs, just because our stuff is 1,000 times faster. Here, let's get some cool stuff up. Full. I want to show off my new, some of the new stuff I've been working on. How'd that happen? Hash include grid.h. Yeah, this is my code. Oh yeah, that's funny. I guess I was, I guess this was like the last couple edits I made when I was falling asleep. That's fine, we'll fix that real quick. Here we go. So here's your maze. And you can control this puffer. And we can try to get him to solve the maze, right? Cool. And I haven't handled resets correctly yet. But there you go. Trying to think how I want to finish this. Think we fix the resets first. We make a couple standalone functions for that. For different types of tasks, we bind the scythe on and we call it a day. We also have to do observation function, though that's pretty easy. Right, so the other thing was caching this. Let us initially maybe I should just initially have it be the maze task and then add stuff in after. You kind of need it's a little tricky now. I'm thinking about it, how we're going to do the resets and stuff. So I'll set this one thing before I start, because I just remembered there's a meeting I have set that I need to set a reminder for. Specific. Perfect. Do you believe in the rewards is enough hypothesis? I mean, it doesn't really tell you anything on its own, right? Because if you have like an ideal reward signal is just imitating a perfect policy, right? Which is not what we actually usually mean by that. Um, so basically, most of the stuff that we do in RL is to get around the fact that we almost never have a perfect reward signal like this. So in some sense, yes, but you never have the perfect signal, so you kind of have to do some extra things. Yeah, something like that. I'm trying to think if there's a way. When you call in init, intelligence about optimizing a fixed. Well, the thing is, it depends how you define the reward function, right? Because if the function can be anything, right, then it's like, okay, yeah, technically you could probably cast anything like that. It's like an intentionally poorly specified statement, right? It's not specified. It's too vague of a statement to really make any conclusion about like that. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. What do you actually have to do to reset the environment at the moment? You just respawn the agent? And remake the border? That's kind of weird. Oh, but you're mem setting to 0 the... Yeah, okay, that's very weird. It's probably, yeah, it's because of the various entities. AI controlled. I highly doubt that. I mean, Atari is a very limited and kind of crappy benchmark, frankly. Okay, this reset function is not very good. You should honestly have to reset it with... Yeah, you should just... The reset should just be a mem copy. And that's what this should be. These things end up mattering a lot, because otherwise, I don't want to spend the next 3 hours writing a bunch of useless code. I think probably all I have to do is... So reset does have to set tick and episode return to 0 and stuff like this. But for this side, I think this just goes... This goes into a init. We haven't loaded the level, though. Maybe it's a load level function. Where does reward come from and how? Yeah, it's... I mean, we're already... I'm under no, false impressions that the M's that we have are complex enough either, right? The thing is, though, they are a lot better than what's out there at the moment. And they're going to help us do, a whole new generation of RL research. And then if you think second order, right, maybe that's enough to get people really interested in RL, not just for LLMs. And maybe we make RL stable and consistent enough for a bunch of industries to pick it up so that, Puffer can get a good chunk of revenue off of that. And we can even, start scaling more research. So, we're kind of the way I have this set up. It's not because what you see is the end plan. The stuff that you see is stuff I'm very proud of, but it's not the end plan. I mean, stuff like this, though, really shows you the potential. I really like neural MMO as an environment. It's not even a full MMO, though, right? It has, like, an economy system, it's got fighting, it's got some leveling, but it's not a full MMO. And a full MMO probably isn't enough either, but it's probably 2 generations of progress, not just 1. Now all we gotta do is get the generational progress time down to about a year and we'll be good. Okay, I don't like how this is done either. I think it's gotta be like load level or some shenanigans. I don't know why this is difficult. Really shouldn't be. I mean, I'm not at 100% today, but still. A Kerbal N for Puffer. Is that KSP? Yeah. I mean, hey, anybody who wants to contribute in Env can do it, right? We have people working on all sorts of cool environment projects. This one here is somewhat urgent, so I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, maybe I'll just think through this out loud, because the thing is I'm just pretty tired still from travel. I was traveling all day yesterday. So let me see if I can, this is really basic, but what I want to do is I want to basically let you create level specs, and then resetting to that level should just be a single mem copy, which should be very fast, because actually generating the levels is slow. But I can't have this be in the initialization because I want you to basically be able to create a bunch of levels outside of this and then load them in. So what I need to do is have a standalone level load function, which I already have for these mazes. And then you just call that function a bunch. Now the tricky thing here is that you also have to specify like goal position and agent position and such. And that is not, yeah, that's not defined by the environment, which is the problem. Okay, so yeah, that is the issue, is that you also have the agent position. Everything else is kind of fine. Yeah, literally everything else is fine. So I guess for now, you can just pass in the agent position directly. When you do load level. But does that give you your spec? No, that will give you your spec. So we'll just make, it'll be a fair bit simpler than this. So we'll just do void load level. And then this will take some properties. I could also just allocate, can I allocate the memory contiguously? I think technically I can. I could just allocate the memory contiguously and copy the whole environment state. That would be kind of cool. So set state and get state instead of doing this. I don't know if that's better or not. Howdy, welcome. I am sleepily trying to fix very simple environment problems. And it's too late for coffee as well. Man, you know, The freaking pneumonia makes everything so much worse because, I mean, here, look at this mess. Where's this? Come on. Is this from today? Why does this not ever sync anything? I don't know why this didn't synchronize. I was going to show. But basically, it's like I have to train at 185 heart rate to get anything done. Yeah, so the options here, right, are you try to come up with a static representation. I mean, how's this going to work even if you just have it, like, set the state of the grid and get the state of the grid? Because, like, you still have to come up with a way to set the agents, right? What's happening in dev chat? Okay, so the two options, you come up with a static representation, you just make set state methods. The only things you really need to do are set I think it would actually be faster to just have set and get state functions. And you could probably use those for other stuff as well. So let's, instead of making this be the whole level, let's just do right, so we do this, right? Okay, so that spawns the agent at X and Y. Spawn X. So we've got this generate maze, which I like. Then we'll do create maze level under here. Create maze level. Learning rate 0.01 is very high for PPO. They don't need to, yes, the hyperparameters are going to be different, but that is a very large difference. Like 0.1 is very high for PPO. Difficulty, probably like this. Not bad. Spawn this one here. Height -2. Okay, so that's not bad. So this creates a maze level. And similarly, we should be able to have the locked room level, right? Yeah, so this is what we had for locked room here. So here's your locked room preset. And then we'll make a create locked room level. It doesn't need seed. Nothing random. So we start by generating the room. And then we make the border. And then the agent gets spawned. We'll leave this for now. This. This 19. I think this kind of does everything except... Yeah, this kind of does everything for you, to be honest. So I think that we don't even need this. It's just redundant. And we'll figure out how to do this cleaner, but this should be good for now. And then all we need to do is fix the way states are allocated, so let's do that. I gotta go find the trick for that. Because there's a little trick. Ooh, that might be an issue here. State. Can I do this in a way? Let me see. So the problem is that there are observations, actions, rewards, and dones in here. This is also, wait, this is a pointer. Okay, so the set state thing is not going to work exactly the way I was hoping it would work. Because this thing contains pointers to memory. Wait, maybe that doesn't matter. Wait, yeah, that doesn't matter because I can still allocate them in the same memory, right? Yes, I can. Do you use cloud compute or have an NVIDIA? We used the Puffer cluster, which we're currently fixing some issues with, but usually contributors get access to our hardware as well. Major contributors, at least. Where is it? It's on the blog. Here it is. Puffer cluster. Just a bunch of desktops with 4090s. We're going to be expanding this quite substantially in the next few months. We're going to get 40 boxes. And then we will be RL Powerhouse. Oh wait, I think I totally can just do this the way I'm thinking. The only thing I gotta be careful about is struct packing. Personal projects. No, it's for RL having a cluster is better, because you don't want to be renting like AWS machines or whatever. They're very poorly spec'd for RL. So RL can be done relatively cost efficient. I mean, if you're doing like serious RL, it's better to do to have your own hardware. That said, we got completely screwed by all the Intel hardware issues. So our new boxes will be AMD and we will no longer have those problems. But yeah, we've had a lot of hardware issues figuring out how to do everything. And also, Puffer is a bit more than a personal project at this point. It's a company, it's an open source community, it's a heck of a lot of code. Puffer's gotten quite puffed up. PPO or RL methods keep a reference policy. Or other RL methods that keep. That's not what that's for. It's not catastrophic forgetting. It's collapse via taking too large of updates. How well has the Titan V held up? It still works, surprisingly. I mean, I bought that thing in undergrad and it still works, so that's something. It was nowhere near as fast as I was hoping back then, so it was not exactly a great purchase, but it existed. Honestly, the best purchase I made was in my undergrad. I bought two 1080 Ti's and stuck them in a personal machine, and that's what I used to get my first paper published. Ran all my experiments on those two cards. Yeah, people were fighting over, cluster time on their really outdated cards. And I was like, all right, I'm not getting any research done on these. I'm just gonna make my own, like build my own machine for this. P80s. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're gonna have some very nice hardware soon. The first test machine should hopefully come in a few weeks. First 5090 test machine. And then we'll be ordering, an additional 40 machines. I would love to order an additional 41 machines so I have a spare as a gaming desktop, but it's probably better that I don't have that. I'm kind of just staring at this thing thinking about how I want to do it. Doesn't flop like 40. 40 series was great. I don't know what you're on about. Like, the 40 series was great. I mean, the only hardware complaints I have lately are just the Intel chips. The perf was pretty solid for, not the perf was pretty darn solid. I mean, maybe the perf per dollar or something wasn't, but it was a pretty substantial boost over the 3090s. Just ordered AMD chip for 40 series, no budget for 50 series. Yeah, 40 series are good. AMD chip is good. We use 9950Xs for our RL builds. Well, I got one box with those, and the new ones will have those stupid Intel chips. Managed to get 5090s today. I ordered like last week. I ordered a 5090. I'm not ordering them direct from NVIDIA as single cards. That's a mess. I am ordering full built machines from from Main Gear. I should probably just do it already. Stop looking at it, just do it. So this goes here, max size, width, height. This goes down here. Yeah, so this is it, width, height, num agents. I can actually put these here. $50.90. Well, it's more so that the other chips are crazy overpriced. Why are you using bandwidth as... Why are you using bandwidth? What? Why is bandwidth your performance metric? It's around 2300 retail. No, it's 2000 is what it was advertised as. It's 2300 if they put it in a box for you. That looks like a very large improvement. Yeah, except then there's the tensor core jump, but then the thing is the tensor cores are also the next generation of tensor cores, so they're hard to compare one to one. How did I do this before? Could do an allocator. Or I could just do... Yeah, but you don't compare per watt because you can't buy a better card. So it's the price of the card goes up by a few $100, but then the price of your whole box goes up by that as well if you're GPU bound. Well, yeah, the 2000 is actually very reasonable. It's the data center chips that aren't. They're at like 93% profit margin there. I mean, they're practically the US Mint with their profit margin. I thought the Founders Edition was 2K. Yeah, Founders Edition is... Oh, where's the Why do these look so shit, actually? They had like a nice... Yeah, where do you buy this one right here? This is the original chip, right? Why, like they got all these ones with separate fans on them. Do they not sell the chip that the freaking picture is? Oh, they got 5080s. Oh, yeah, AMD is just completely lost at this point. I mean, actually, for gaming cards, I think that they just make lower end gaming cards for the most part, is all they do on that front. 40Ss. Well, I didn't even know that they made those, man. I think that they're busy using their silicon producing facilities for data center chips that are 10x the price. Would be my guess. Okay, where's the clever thing? Right here, right? That's weird. I don't, like, it doesn't make sense to me why they would do that. AMD software guy. Well, yeah, I don't know what they're doing. They're just like, they should have just taken that offer the first time. I don't know what's wrong with them. I think though, honestly, I think that they just want to build, I think they just want to make their CPUs and not risk trying to compete with Nvidia at all. I think that they just think that they lose, so they're not going to bother. They're just going to keep making CPUs. And honestly, like, they kind of won the CPU market, I'd say, with the latest Intel screw up. I mean, I've used Intel chips exclusively for 15 years, and I'm never buying another Intel chip. Like, they would have to double AMD's performance now for me to even look at them. That's how badly they screwed up. I mean, their chips, they're making good money on their chips, though. Like, the high-end CPUs, right? And workstations, they got their Threadrippers. They've got pretty nice chips. Mm. For the GPUs, I mean, you saw what Intel did with their recent chips, right? Like, nobody in their right mind should be buying Intel CPUs anytime soon. At least desktop grade chips. That's funny. This does have the side effect that I will not be able to see out of memory bound errors, which is moderately annoying. Working on similar RL beginner though, using browser, use GitHub repo. Could have a lot of RL. Yeah, it could. The tough thing is you're dealing with text. Text as a medium is hard to learn tabula rasa from scratch. Well, I'm personally going to hope US stays #1. That we get some more chip fabrication on US soil as well, and massively increase capacity. They got H800s. I don't know how good those are. Oh, I don't know. I mean, their manufacturing should be pretty damn good. Hey, oh, man, are you working on Jim? Right, on Jim? This is PufferLib. We're currently working on a procedurally generated maze environment. Not sure if you're familiar with some of the other stuff around here, but our environments are a good 1,000 times faster than anything you're going to find in Jim. These are all playable online as well, with RL agents in the browser. So we're making a procedurally generated maze environment for RL, though we're doing so rather slowly. I got back from vacation yesterday. I'm still pretty tired from traveling. Recent unit tree robot. Yeah, there's a lot of humanoid robotic stuff at the moment. Isaac Gym. Oh yeah, Isaac Gym. I did a fair bit on that last week. I've got a guy who's cleaning up some stuff around that over the next day or two, and then I'll be back on that as well. The Isaac Gym stuff does work. We're gonna get some baselines. We're gonna get some stuff trained, and we're gonna see how that goes from there. I want to finish this grid end. I'm just not sure how I want to do. I don't know how I want to do the state logic. Hey, Spencer. Man, this is irritating. Ironically, if I had actually made like a grid cell object, I wouldn't have this problem. But that's kind of, no, I'd still have this problem. How was vacation? I went to the Galapagos, and it was more of an adventure than a vacation, to be honest. I saw a bunch of very cool stuff, but it was not very restful. And the main thing I realized is I really can't be taking vacations anymore with the amount of stuff going on with Puffer, because I'm kind of just watching my inbox piling up with stuff to do, and it ends up, I just end up being more stressed than when I left. So I'm probably not going to be vacationing really for a couple of years, but that's fine. I want to get Puffer off the ground properly. Man, I hate when I'm just staring at stuff like this, but yeah, I was making like great pace before I left. If anything, it's like getting off my schedule that burns me out, right? I get good sleep, I get good I have a good diet, I have good exercise, and all that goes out the window when I go away. Almost done with PLG. Move conditions in BFS solver. So far so good. Shimmy logic and block pushing. Very nice. And as soon as you finish that, we'll start getting you on some cool science side efforts, most likely. I'm doing a procedurally generated maze environment as well. This is just a 2D maze environment. It's almost done. Just have to figure out how. I just have to figure out this last thing here, which is with loading and saving and stuff. Now, I really don't like losing my buffer checks. It's going to be creating a set. You have to run, well, technically it is O of n, but still it's kind of a chunky algorithm for an O of n. Does a bunch of checks. I wonder if it is fast enough to do in the training loop. I would doubt it. Okay, I think I'm gonna make save and load functions instead of messing with the memory like this. And it's just gonna be 2 mem sets instead of 1. It's just gonna be 2 mem sets instead of 1. Um, but then you need a freaking game state variable, don't you? I think we're just gonna do this. This is gonna be the state. And put it down here. I want to pass this through as a copy either. Maybe I do. Yeah, hold on. You pass it as a copy. Then this whole thing goes onto the stack though, right? But these maps aren't huge. Maybe that's fine. We'll try this. Ah, but this will be a pointer, so this I gotta be careful here. So this is the get state. So actually what you have to do is this is kind of weird. There's some pointer shenanigans here. I'm getting very high variance. That's possible depending on the environment. That's very possible. Yeah, so the issue here is that it'll copy the pointer, but then it'll be pointing to the same data. What if we make you pass in a state? You'll pass in a state. Alright, then probably something weird. Width is like this. And then there we go. So this is get state, and then set state will also give you state star state. And we'll do env width, height, num agents, set. So env grid. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. It doesn't see the pointer on this apparently. Probably because of the dots above it. There we go. So this is pretty easy. Get state, set state like this. And the reset doesn't need to be like so. Now let me figure out how I'm going to do this. First in C, I'd say. Create maze level. So we'll just do, oops, create maze level, and difficulty is 0.85, and seed is 0. We also need to specify width and height here, I would say. Yeah, we need to specify width and height. You're doing random gen for your PLG or a known maze. It is a growing tree. It's a kind of a nice algorithm because it lets you interpolate between recursive backtracking and prims, which kind of gives you a difficulty slider in addition to size. Pretty cool. Hmm. Search algorithms just working. Yeah. Well, it's just you don't have to do them very often, right? What's your batch size and stuff? So let me tell you where you want to be for RL to make sense, okay? For RL to make sense and not be incredibly painful, this is where you want to be. All right, you want to be at the point where you can go to some dashboard like this. All right, and then you can just go to group by tags. Whoops, group by. Can't click. Okay, there we go. You want to basically just be in a spot where you can group by tags. You can go to your plots. And just like look at stuff like this. All right, and then you want to know if learning rate is screwy. You go to learning rate and see where it's good. And you can, you have multiple dashboards. So, like, yeah, this one's good. And then you can just go look at your learning rate and say, here, this is the stable region right here. Right, this is what you want. Buffer length. 10 epochs per update is a ton. Look at the default params we have for some of our algorithms. Like, this is where you want to get to, and we've already done most of the work for you in PufferLib. So it's perfectly fine to implement your own algorithms and stuff. But, don't expect to use those implementations to get real work done, because it takes months and months to get good implementations. Sometimes more than that. In the config files, we got all the .ini's for different environments. At least you can look at sweep ranges. I mean, most of them are good. Some of them are outdated, but most of them are good. Yeah, it's all in Puffer. All in Puffer. Actually, I've not had Restream up this whole time. Let me go check. Oh, apparently there's 7 people watching me sleepily code. Cool. Hi, everyone. Let's actually get this done in that case. So we're going to do width will be, yeah, let's try this. Tough. This is good, so now we make the maze level. We'll try this out to see if this is what we want. Mini batch. No, mini batch size is not buffer length. There is no buffer length in PufferLib, because you don't always collect the same number of steps from an environment. So batch size is the total number of steps you're going to collect from all the different environments that you're simulating per update. And then mini batch is how many of those samples you're going to use for each gradient step. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Check the puffer implementation, right? The puffer implementation will clear stuff up. It's based on CleanRL, which is the best implementation out there. It's just a little faster. And by a little faster, I mean like up to 30 times faster, you know? Sometimes we do a little perf optimization. Passing. Oh, this is because this needs to be a mem copy, not a mem set. Yeah. You know, the Puffer Ocean has a few cool environments in it, we could say. Boop. Well, that's not quite right. It's almost right, but not quite right. No. So this just has to be. Think we do this? Holy. Okay. That's amusing. How I built this locally, right? That's interesting how it's able to segfault. It should not be able to segfault. So this is now correct, but the puffer's in the wrong spot. Spawn agent. This is very weird. Maybe it's rendering weird. Where's rendering? That looks fine to me. Why does the puffer go here? Why is this where the puffer is? Zero, X and Y, right? Still don't know where the bug is. Thank you very much. Is max size set? Max size should be set. Weird that it spawns the puffer there. Maybe we'll look in the renderer. I don't know if you can actually put a breakpoint here. Looks like you can. Okay, so we do Y, X. It got set to 16. That's probably just something in the C file that I forgot to remove. Yep, there it is. Though the create maze level should have hang on, create maze level should have overridden this. Oh, stupid. There we go. So we'll have to figure out why it's occasionally segfaulting, but here is a maze. This is where you go to solve the maze. We'll still have to handle resets. This also requires quite precise control to not get stuck. And then it dumps you into an empty environment. Okay. And then all we have to do is call get state. All we gotta do is call get state. Let's see, we actually get errors now. Should put LLVM on here by default. To do, add GDB and LLVM to default puffer tank. Okay, now we actually get something. State. Right here. Does memcopy not work the way I think it does? What are the args on memcopy? It's probably a good thing that I don't know this because it means I don't memcopy stuff around too often. 2 from bytes. No, I'm correct. So why does this not work? Mac not having... Yeah, you are. Can you not just stick a Docker container on it? Do I need to build you a CPU puffer tank? Because you really are coding on hard mode for no reason. Adam, yeah. Spencer, like, fsanitize is the difference between liking C and hating C. Like, not having this was the reason that I hated my systems courses in undergrad. This is Linux. Yeah, you can do that, but next time you get a seg fault, remember that you don't actually have to deal with that. Why the heck is that not a thing? It should be a thing. If you find a compile build that runs it, you can add it. So how would I still... Because you can render through the Docker, duh. I'm in a Docker now. This is a Docker. You see the little puffer symbol? Puffer symbol's the Docker prompt. That's why he's there, to tell you that you're in the Docker. I should be able to copy here, right? Even though data's on the stack. Okay, so yeah, null argument passed. I see. And this is because I did not call reset. Or did I not call init? Wait, is the memcopy signature backwards? I thought it's to and from. Is this wrong? To, from. To, wait. Env state. copy to state. But this should have an address. Oh, dummy. Okay, so this needs to be copied to somewhere. So this makes size of state. Oh, I just need an Alex state function. Okay. This is me being sleepy. Like this. There we go. That's super basic. You need max size. This. There we go. I really don't need the allocate as much as I need the init. You state like this maybe. Hold on, let me read that. PPO is doing better. It's officially faster. Any of the common architectures that I use should work. If you have like a 5-layer feed-forward net, it's probably not going to work. I can look at it if you need. Fair enough. I would like to finish this after all. Bro thinks CB2B SaaS. Are we getting frickin' invaded by Twitter bots? Is this the freaking creator of the coin still trying to convince me to do this with bots? Like, just stop. Alright, stop. No, then why are you doing this? The original coin was a scam. That wasn't me. That's somebody obviously impersonating me. Well, obviously, I'm an MIT PhD. What do you expect? Your coin lost me 10K. I posted as soon as I saw it that it wasn't me. Yeah, this is definitely bots. Lovely. Okay, whoever you are running this net, do you seriously have nothing better to do? Like, piss off. I'm trying to build some cool stuff here. Yeah, it's just 10 Twitter accounts that happen to join at the same time. Mm-hmm. You're either multi-clienting or whatever. Okay, this works, but then it doesn't reset correctly. This done. Okay, done doesn't reset correctly. Fix that. And done's. Reset rewards. Ah, whatever, man. Rewards. I should reset Dunn's rewards. And then episode return should get reset on its own, right? Oh, this is silly. This is just a placeholder for a proper log struct. That's fine. Let's see if this gets it to reset correctly. Very nice. Okay, so that works. So now we have a basic PCG maze environment. And it has to render at full size like that as well because the mazes can vary in size. Just fine. And let me see if I can load 10 to 3. So 10 epochs is crazy high because usually it's unstable. If somehow you're keeping it stable for those 10 epochs, then yes, it will increase sample efficiency. It should not be approximately equal to same time though, because if you have your system correctly tuned, then you should be able to get new samples for free instead of getting old samples. So you can train more on new data instead of on old data, which is how we have it in PufferLib because the environments are so fast. It's probably just poorly optimized is all. I mean, on any like little simple end, you should be pushing hundreds of thousands of steps per second. You'll find that things just magically start working when you have that. Seg faults or OS being weird. Look at this. Interesting. Seems like there's only one locked door, I think, in this setup, right? Yeah, there's only one locked door. This is the key. Why can't I run into the key here? It does not let me collect the key. Interesting. So I must have broken something. Yeah, you just have your param set silly. I look at the way we do stuff on Puffer, man. You use batch size like 1,000 parallel M's. Or serial M's, if they're fast enough. Like the CMs are fast enough, we just run them in serial and we run like 4,000 of them and we chill. Let me fix this bug before, I gotta get dinner soon. No, let me fix this bug. Good bug. Yeah, I know somebody made a fake token. I already announced that it's not me. I checked. There's basically zero legal action you can take against the host of these sites. AI agents could use a lot of RL. Well, they are. I mean, DeepSeek, right? That's what everyone's going nuts on Twitter. No, I've already announced I'm not in crypto space. What in the heck? I'm simply not in that space, and that's just not the way that I want to fund this. I mean, this is serious AI research. These things are not taken seriously. This does nothing but damage my reputation for no reason. If the creator of this thing doesn't stop bothering me soon as well, like, I don't know. We'll look into what I can do about that, because they are currently ripping off the branding of a registered US company. Silly OS bug. Segfault's not from the code. Browse use repo. Like those. Yeah, I mean, the wrappers are a thing. But, like, that's not... Like, that's just, like, random people jumping on the AI bus and trying to make a quick buck. And some of them will make quite a pretty penny. But, like, that's not where the models are going to be. Like, the models themselves will be RL, like DeepSeek is. I highly doubt that. The vast majority of my followers are, like, academics and industry practitioners in RL. They're not people that go around buying meme coins. I mean, it's like the most obvious. It's like the most obvious, impersonated coin thing ever. Like, nobody in their right mind is gonna believe that I just woke up one day and decided to launch a stupid thing on Pump Fun or whatever. States have low variance and nothing unique, then I can feel free. I think it was like 6 people or whatever, the majority of which are probably the coin creator. It's just a weird account to target. It's weird to target like a 6K follower account with like densely RL followers, but whatever. You know, you want to rip off my brand because you can't build anything yourself, go ahead. Have fun. Keep bothering me about it, and then we'll see. But whatever. I already made an announcement, it's not me. Building something in OS world. Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, Insomniac, it's gonna be so much of that is going to get put into the base model that it's gonna make like the for loop over GPT obsolete. So basically all these startups are doing at the moment is they're trying to like script stuff on top of the model to leapfrog OpenAI and Anthropic and all the rest of them by 6 months to a year tops. Right? That's all they're doing. This is not going to be the way that things end up actually getting done. Now, I mean, there are a couple like actually good companies that have kind of done something good on top of stuff. But again, it's just a matter of time. before the LLM providers just build it into their own ones. Like Perplexity is actually pretty darn good. I think they actually have better browsing at the moment than OpenAI and anybody else has built in. But it's only a matter of time. And probably, unless these things scale user bases very, very fast, the most that they're going to probably do is get acquired at like some good price. And mostly for the team. Yeah, it's hard to tell because I literally don't know who, like, at least a decent chunk of the accounts that are like on here and chatting with me are the creator on different accounts, because it's like 10 accounts aren't going to randomly join my stream at the same time. Let me actually check something. Yeah, okay, you didn't join when all the other ones did, so maybe legit. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's not bots as in LLM bots. It's bots as in like somebody has like a multi-accountant client or something, most likely, that has them just like logged into a bunch of accounts. Either that or they're too dumb to do that and they just have a bunch of tabs open. I don't know. Whatever startup uses LMs to wrap up, then OpenAI or some big tech. Not necessarily. I mean, it's like, it's the low skill people who are literally, yeah, I see more bots. It's literally the, it's literally like most of the LLM startups, a lot of them are just like the low skilled people trying to get into AI because like now you don't have to understand how models work. You can just write loops over stuff. And to be fair, sometimes you can actually build useful products in the short term doing that. Maybe even in the longer term if you have something very, very specific, right? But yeah, the majority of them are going to get steamrolled. There's no coin. I do ultra high performance reinforcement learning. It's just somebody using my name and my company brand. Does this have to get set to -1? Spawn agent. It's because it doesn't get set here. So we'll fix that up when we refactor this bit. But for the meantime, I should just be able to do agent held as -1 like this. There's no point. The goal for the year financially is to scale Puffer to 1 million ARR, which I think is going to be very possible with what I'm doing now. Just takes a few more clients. There we go. So I guess all these other doors are open, which, yeah, they're all green. So it's literally there's just one locked door in this environment. It's just the mini grid lockdown. And you go like this. Added you on YouTube. Thank you. All the demos are on puffer.ai if you're interested in them. They're pretty fun. They're like basic little games. Some of them not so basic little games, but they all run at like 1,000,000 steps per second, 10,000 times real time when we train AI on them. So I mean, stuff like this We can do stuff like train bots on 1,500 years worth of games on one GPU. And it's all open source, and most of the code is now contributed by community members. So it's a fun project, and it's a great way to advance this area of science, because all the other research these days seems to require a $100 million cluster. If I were purely motivated by money, I wouldn't be doing this. This is science first, money second. There will be money, there will be return on this, but this is the primary goal of this project is to revolutionize reinforcement learning. And we're well on our way. I mean, are you kidding me? Of course I wouldn't be doing this, right? There's so many other areas of AI that are so much easier. Are you kidding me? So much easier to just like... I mean, this is fun too, right? But yeah, I mean, we've shipped Puffer's now close to like 30,000 lines of shipped code, most of which is C environments. Fixes. It's not fun outside of Puffer. Took me very many years to figure out how to make it not horrible. And it's going to get much better from here. Do you know if something similar exists for chatting with customers? I mean, you mean like the way that companies have been replacing their support with chatbots? This tech wouldn't be for that. I mean, this tech is used on top of language models to improve them. But in the way that I'm using it now, it's not for that. This is mostly going to be used in robotics, various industrial processes across a ton of different fields, and various miscellaneous tasks. Because this is not RL on language models. This is RL tabula rasa from scratch with much smaller models on mostly game environments, but other types of sims as well that we're building. Stuff like this. We got like miniature version of Dota here. We've got like some classic arcade tasks like Pong and Breakout and stuff. But the cool thing about this is that you can actually do this research at a reasonable scale. We can chew through as much data as all of GPT-4 on about one GPU with some of these small little models. And we can actually train agents capable of solving game environments and solving various useful things like that. Industrial process, yeah, I think that's going to be one of the main areas. Of course, it's going to have to get a little bit more stable and a little bit more out of the box first. So generally, we're starting with tasks that are a lot more visually interpretable because there's a lot of back and forth debugging. But as it gets more stable, we're going to move into that. AI into my simulation game. If you're thinking like enemy AI, NPC AI, and so on, yes, this is the tech that you would use for that. Now, mind you, it's still pretty new tech, and it still requires a fair bit of experience to get working on any new problem. We're currently trying to make it substantially easier, right? That's what I'm doing with PufferLib, make it easier, make it better, make it faster, all of that. And it is rapidly getting better, but yes, this is the tech that you would use for that. So gaming will be, one potential, or one pretty large application area. I've chatted with a few gaming companies. We don't have any contracts in that area just yet, but hey, Puffer's still relatively new, and it takes a while to build up a nice client base. Okay, I think I'm done with this for now. I think the only thing that I have to do on this now is I have to get the binding to Scython. Initially, it's probably just going to be a very simple binding, and then we're going to add in curriculum learning type features so that you can reset the map to a specific maze level depending on its difficulty based on how well you've been doing on that previously. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm going to break for dinner. I'll probably be back on afterwards, depending on how long that takes, and see if I can knock out like an extra hour or so. Might not, depends. I got to look at what stuff I got to prep for tomorrow, but probably so. I'd like to finish this. So thanks for tuning in, folks. And if you're interested in this work, it's all on puffer.ai. You can check out the GitHub right here. It's all open source. And if you're interested in getting involved with development, most of this is led by community members. You don't need RL experience, you just need a good programming background, and you'll pick up the rest pretty quick. And if you want more content than that, we have stuff on the blog, but we've also got some articles on my X that you can't find anywhere else. Think you'll do well with Riot Games? Got a meeting on the books with them. Full of bots, full bot games that play really well. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, check the site out. I mean, we've got a ton of people in the Discord all building cool stuff. So